Greetings, everyone. Greetings. I am Chauncey Williams, and this is WhatDoIDoNow.biz. We're in our section 3, last section of the 3 volumes, and this one is called Building a Strong Financial Foundation. Now, listen, in this section, we'll be focusing on some of the more positive goals to financial success, including banking, purchasing a home, reestablishing credit, the value of credit cards, and creating an investment portfolio for your financial freedom. So you're like, hold on, Chauncey's another person up there. Yes, that's my mentor, Tony Williams. He's a former bill collector, working man, family man, insurance broker, financial investor, and also we co-host a radio show at 103.7 The Beat in Muskegon, Michigan. So a lot of times when I prepare my clients to be financially ready, they either go get insurance from him, they get investments from him, or they do life insurance or other things of that nature. So when I say building a strong financial foundation, if you look at the picture, that's what it actually is. I am standing on some blocks, a strong foundation. He's sitting down, and I'm handing him pieces of my financial security or others and saying, if you can trust me, respect me, and build a positive relationship, I can connect you to a better network. So the pain and change I talked about on the previous pages, on the previous lessons, it goes right here. You got to have people that have more knowledge than you in certain areas so you can be strengthened and better as you go on in this financial life. So the website again is WhatDoIDoNow.biz. Let's get right into it. Again, the motto, I always like to go over this overview that why I'm teaching this particular topic. First off, self-esteem is very important when it comes to your finances. If you feel good, you do good, you have a positive affirmation about yourself, a positive self-awareness, a positive self-conscience, everything works out. So that goes along with your growth and your development. And you evolve over time. Everybody's going to get older. We're going to get the gray hair. Some of our body's going to be sagging, or we're going to miss some teeth one day, have to go to the dentist. But eventually, how we're going to grow financially and mentally to sustain the lifestyle we want. And I truly believe that credit is attached to that concept. So as you can see, you can have a bad score, possibly as low as I've seen is 380. The highest I've seen is 850. And I've seen actually people with 850 credit scores. And what I've noticed with them is they don't finance things. They usually go buy them straight cash. So that lets you know that credit is an object that they've used to gain financial freedom, but not impulsive spending. Going and looking at the ages of 18 to 22, credit's going to be with you for the rest of your life. So let's go to the next slide. So as you see self-esteem, you have the thinking again. When you're thinking about you and credit, it's a relationship. Can I trust you? Can I respect you in this relationship that I'm lending you some money? Thinking, acting, feeling, and the choices you make can either be negative or positive, but you can fix them. Pain, the pity pot, the deficit of credit. You can find yourself in lower areas of life, not living where you want to, not driving what you want, not working where you want, because a lot of times they pull credit scores when it comes to job requirements, because sometimes the jobs require you to handle top secret information or other people's financial documents, and they want to trust people that are credit worthy. So the pity pot is the mindset, the shake that say you're in a deficit, but you can fix it. Anger and an attitude. A lot of times, people that are in the pain side of this model, they find themselves blaming everybody else. If my mama didn't put the credit in my name, or if this didn't happen to me, I'm by myself, or if I didn't get laid off, those issues compound this pain concept, and it leads to insanity where a person is constantly thinking about their past mistakes instead of going forward. And eventually that leads up to an addition of nonsense. 1 plus 1 is not 0. So you have to make that progress all the time and keep positive thinking over time. Change the courage. You have to have the courage to recognize that, hey, I got some bad credit. What I'm going to do about it? That's the next question. What's my why? Why do I want to have better credit? Is I want to purchase a home? Do I want to go back to school? Do I want a better lifestyle for my family? Do I want to start my own business? What is your why? Honesty, being honest with yourself that, hey, I don't have a lot of money, but what's the first thing I can do in this financial plan as I build my life? And I put anger and attitude again, but it's not for someone to be angry or to have an attitude. It's about them having a positive attitude because we're thinking, feeling, and acting positive when we're on this change side. We're not on the A and the paying side because we have seen the courage and the honesty in it. The network, and like I showed you that picture with me handing Tony a money block. That could be somebody else's financial security. That could be my own. That can be somebody I know. That could be an investment I have. So, but I'm handing it to him because he has 30 years in the business and he owns his own business. So if I come to him with a question, he's seen more than I've seen in my 15 years of doing this. He's been doing it 30, so he's double, and he sees it all the time where he has to help people in situations. Gratitude, where you have that sense of knowledge and that sense of purpose, where you're thankful. You're not always looking for what can you get out of it. You're humbly giving, you're graciously giving and humbly receiving. So you're just trying to figure out how to give more of yourself and have more value than you give out to the people the things you receive in return. And the last thing is endurance. How do you keep on doing that every single day, all the time for everybody? Because you feel good about yourself internally, and it goes back to you in credit. And that's that higher power mindset that you are in a sense, a state of mind of that I can do better, and everybody else around me, I'm going to make sure they're going to do good. And it doesn't matter if they have more than me or less than me. I'm going to approach them in a way where I can help. So we have to get to that space in our mind as we have more money come in. And that's it. We got pain and change. We have the credit score. We have think, feeling, acting with the positive choices. Over time, we learn things, but also over time, we get older and we shouldn't be making the same mistakes. But our growth and development is all attributed to how we see ourselves and our higher power. And what's the connection to ourself, our inner being, and as we grow. Lesson 1, build a good credit file. That's that picture again. Now, when I say credit file, I say this to my clients all the time. I can make you a credit file. It makes you, I'm talking about your credit report, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. Those 3 companies that give you a FICO score and it breaks down. So it's basically your credit report. Reestablishing a good credit file, lesson 1. Establishing and maintaining an excellent credit rating is one of the most important financial goals that individuals face. Initially, it may be easy to establish good credit through a complete understanding of the benefits and risks associated with credit. Unfortunately, maintaining good credit can be difficult, especially if you fall behind on any payments or experience financial difficulties. There is no simple or immediate way to establish an excellent credit rating. Just as it takes time, months, or even years to damage your credit rating, it will take time to rebuild. However, the process is simple and it requires you to perform many of the same tasks you used when you initially building your credit. Before I describe the steps necessary for reestablishing your credit rating, let's begin by understanding exactly what a credit rating or score is. Simply put, your credit rating or score is an indication or a prediction that lenders, financial institutions, and banks are regarding your ability or likelihood of paying back your credit card purchases. Credit issuers develop their scores based on an interpretation of your credit report, your reported income, and your debt ratio. As a credit rating is usually a computer-generated number, the criteria used to determine your credit score doesn't include information on your sex, race, religion, or national origin. Age, however, may be used if the credit issuer decides that a certain age groups are less likely to pay their bills. If your credit is filled with histories of late payments, missed payments, and collection accounts, it will be difficult, if not practically impossible, to take out a loan or get a new credit card. However, a credit report showing a history of on-time payments and paid off accounts will work in your favor. So there's a pros and cons to the credit reporting system. As a credit score is based on raw numbers, it is free from discrimination. On the other hand, the scores don't take into account the consumers who have exceptional circumstances. If the score is too low, they're turned down. You must understand the credit scoring game if you're going to get it to work for you. You got to understand. And what I see a lot of times is people go in blind. Yes, I'm lucky. I got to prove. No, you're not lucky. You got to prove. I got the card. I don't know how God did it. No, you can't go in with a 400. It's not going to happen. You have to do some things and due diligence to make sure. Don't go into no situation blind with your credit, okay? Building your excellent credit profile. As most of you know, building good credit starts with opening a major credit card account. Having a history of making on-time payments with a credit card company allows future credit issuers to recognize a pattern of consistent payments. Having a history of paying as agreed accounts on your credit report can be more beneficial than having a mortgage. Say that again. Sometimes people think a mortgage is a good thing to have. It's actually not. If you can't afford to pay it and can't afford to fix the roof or do the siding or the payment keeping you in debt. I had a client like that. They got approved for a home, but they got approved for too much and they took all of it and now they stuck. So they can't just move when the lease is up 12 months. They got 15 years, 30 years, and they got somebody come in to buy it or they got to lose it. So a lot of times people go into things because they just see them, but you got to make sure that, they say putting a mortgage on your credit is good. No, it's not. If you can't afford it, because your debt to income ratio. How can I begin to reestablish my credit profile if no one will give me a chance? That's the question. And this is what I see again. I said this in the previous lesson. People always go to places and apply for credit. Inquiries. You should only have 3 inquiries on your credit report in a calendar year. If you got more than 3, something is wrong. That's a high risk case for credit. Obtaining a major credit card in your name can be difficult if you have poor credit ratings. However, by following a few simple steps, you can drastically increase your chances of getting your first or your next credit card. Now, here's some examples. And I give these examples away all the time when I do credit profiles for all my clients. 1, open a savings and checking account, establish a good relationship with a bank or credit union. Is one of the first steps to establish a financial history. Be sure you use your checking account responsibly. Writing checks that bounce and owing merchants for overdrafts can be very damaging to your credit rating. Be careful and record all your transactions. Keep all your bank statements, keep up with them, keep a log of what you got. Keep a file cabinet. We talked about that. 2, pay all your utility bills, phone bills, and cable bills on time. These companies rarely report good credit to credit agencies, but they are likely to report any late payments or derogatory information that may occur. Now, Experian has this thing called Experian Boost. You can go on Experian Boost and you can list the utility bills, phone bills, and cable bills on time if you paying them on time. Don't list them and then you always be the person that always paying your Boost mobile phone late, or you paying your cable late, or you paying your utility bills late. It's not going to work for you on your behalf. So always make sure that the things that you pay on time, you want them reported. It's a game to this. This is critical information for you. Continue building your excellent credit profile. Step 3, apply for a secure credit card. Now you're like, what is a secure credit card? With a secure credit card, you deposit a predetermined amount of money into an account and similar to a bank account, right? But it's your money. Your credit line is usually limited to your deposit amount of 1.5 times of your deposit. Secure credit cards offer you the opportunity and flexibility of using the credit card along with the convenience of making the monthly payments on your account. These financial companies will usually charge interest on your balances and usually attach to account opening fees and account maintenance fees, but can be helpful as they will report the account history to your credit reporting agencies. Now, when people get these, I tell them, make sure you drafting out that account, make sure you paying it on time. But you want to establish it where you get this secured loan or credit card where you can increase the balances. So then you get to the point where you 500, you 1,000 in the secured. Now they're able to, now you got that $1,000. You leave that in the bank. When you pay it off, keep it there. So then now you got this history of the secured loan and you got $1,000 in their bank. They looking at you like, this person building a great relationship with us. We're going to extend them to an unsecured credit card where that's the ones where you get the reward points and things like that you want to pay off every month. Step 4. If your credit card was canceled, try to reopen the account. Often paying what you owe will enable you to get your card back. Now, I've done this for several people, and I'll say, I just close it. I ain't want to deal with them all. I tell them this. You want at least 2 years of credit card history. You have to have that. You want to have a variety of things on your credit report so you can have that diversity. I call it diversity on your credit file. You want the variety and the diversity of mixed things on your credit report. And you want time. Longevity is very important. When you paying something for 48 months and you never missed a payment, that's a good thing. But if you just got a credit card and you close it 6 months and you had a hardship, I understand. But if don't close something that you had a long time, a long history with it. You want to keep that history. History is important in the credit report. As I said earlier, your time is very important in your age. It's calculating your credit score. Step 5, inquire about a secure loan from a local bank or credit union. With these loans, you deposit a certain sum into a bank account and ask the bank to give you a loan against the money in your account. Many banks are willing to do this as they will gain interest without incurring any risk. So you can get a secure credit card and a loan. I actually recommend to get both of them. Number 6, pay all loans, bills, and credit card accounts on time every month. I auto pay. I auto pay my tithes, auto pay car loans that I had, auto pay credit cards, and I do the PSP, the personal spending plan. I sit down every month with all my bills. So then I try to pay them all off, and then whatever I have in excess, I make sure I save too. I've saved for myself. It's like I take $1, right? And you want to take every dollar. I look at it as 70 cents out of each dollar I get to have for my bills. So you're like, hold up. So if I get $1, so like at $1, 10 cents goes to tithes, charity. 10 cents goes to investments for my future, retirement or whatever. And then the third goes to the insurance and any liabilities that I have if I get hurt. So I gotta have that 30 cent going there. Then the next portion I pay the rest of my bills with. But then sometimes it don't take all my salary for the whole month. So I have this a portion that I can save again. But I do that with every cycle. Every time I get $1, I always look at the 70-10 equation till I get to the point that I'm hopefully thinking that one day I can live off 20% of my income. And that's the ultimate goal. Imagine getting a check and you say only need 20% for the month to live off of. We want people to be there. That's being established in financial freedom. I know people like that, and that's amazing that they say, oh, my bills is paid. And they're not driving hoopties. They're not living in tore-down homes. They're living off 20% of their income because they have multiple streams of income. But we'll talk about that later. Next, keep your debt income ratio under 20%. We talked about that. How much you owe, how much you're paying out. Because a lot of times you can pay all your bills and then you got all this miscellaneous stuff, these trips you finance, this ring you finance, this car you finance, this your takeout bill, your hangout bill, or you just like it's just all this sporadic behavior that is affecting your income. And you're like, hold up, I'm spending more money and I'm not saving nothing. So now you find yourself financing your regular lifestyle. And you don't want to do that. It's a headache. Next, do not apply often for additional or new credit. I talked about this earlier. It's called an inquiry. Your credit file shows how many inquiries have been made about you recently from credit issuers. Too many inquiries in the same year will flag the credit issuer and damage your rating. I say 3 times. Get your score good enough where you know when you walk in somewhere and you ask them, say, what's the typical score that'll get me into this car, into this home, on all 3 credit reports that I need to have? Ask that information for us. They say, well, you have usually acceptance rate, a high acceptance rate with people with a 720 or even with a 690. We'll try to work with you. So when you hear those numbers, you go look at your credit report, figure out you got those numbers. Then you work with somebody like myself, get the numbers, then you come back. And then now you have what I said, the self-esteem. So then now you got that higher power, that affirmation mindset that, oh, I know I'm good. You got your legs crossed in the bank or the dealership or the realtor. And you're like, I'm ready. And I get text messages like that all the time from former clients. They share that information with me that, hey, I'm doing better. Thank you for sharing that knowledge. Building your excellent credit profile continue. Next step, stability counts too. If you've been in your own current home for 4 years or longer and with your current employer for 5 or more years, you will be viewed as a lower risk. Having a job and having the same residence is very important. Next step, keep your credit balances significantly low, below your credit limits. Lenders will look at your spending behavior and balances when determining your credit worthiness. Always say, charge what you can pay for 5 times, or if you can pay it off at the end of the month. Charge what you can. Or if somebody saying like, buy this for me, I used to do this. Like I had a sister that was crazy about furniture. She'll have the money and she'll like, look, could you pay for it and then I pay it off? So I used to do that deal with her because I'm like, that'll help my credit score go up. But I didn't extend it too much. I did it once in a while, probably around tax time or when she had a lump sum coming in or a bonus. I did that because I had credit to certain places she wanted to go to, and I had a larger limit than she had. Next step is close all inactive accounts with 0 balances. So if you're not using something, close them. But I do recommend, like, if you got a credit card, use it for gas or something like that, or like I got a retail store card, and I buy something when they like my birthday come around, or if my wife wants some cologne or perfume, I buy it, then I pay it off with the money that I had set aside. I already had the money and I pay it off. So usually I keep it like that. Next step, keep no more than 4 credit cards. That's actually too many. But when you look at the resources, I got my travel card, I got my gas card, I got my emergency, and I got my one that we use for medical or certain situations. And you have those 4 spaces with those credit cards that do 4 different things for you. But too many credit cards can also damage your credit score. Okay, so you're having too many. I've seen and read articles. I've actually met somebody that had 15, and I've seen somebody else, an article that we did on a radio show, that somebody had 30 credit cards. So I was like, why would they have 30 credit cards? What's the purpose of that? So following these simple steps, but important steps, will lead you on a path to building and maintaining an exit credit rating. Although they seem simple, building and maintaining your credit profile requires discipline, diligence, and the determination to work on your goals. Remember, credit is recognized as better than cash in many places. And we're in this digital society now. As you can see, they're not accepting cash. They're like, hey, we don't accept cash. It's a change shortage. So if you don't have a bank account, you just always got cash, it's going to be hard for you. And they got alternative ways to get bank accounts. And more transactions are being made possible through credit than ever before. Having a poor credit rating can create many obstacles and barriers that are unnecessary and disturbing. By keeping your eyes on your credit and financial goals, you will soon have the stellar credit and financial freedom. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here to be the guru. I'm not here to be the person to say I can do this and do that. I will work diligent with you. This came from a book that I created, and I made it a source where it can be an online tool for people at an affordable price. Because I always believe this. I truly believe. Whatever I give people, I give it in more value, so they feel that they like, wow, he really gave me something that extends more than what I paid for it. That's what I believe in my work, in my things I do for others. I always want to give more than what they pay for it. And this is a lesson. We always have lessons. So it's a lesson that goes with reestablishing your good credit profile. Okay. So what are 6 out of 13 steps you can follow to increase your chances of getting your first or next credit card? Now, I'm not going to share them because I listed everything in the previous slides. So it's on you to figure that out. And once you figure that out, this knowledge out, you always have it. And I find myself always sharing this with people. So I don't have no credit, Chauncey. What do I do? What do I do now? That's the name of the lesson, the name of the book. And I give them the resources and the tools to go out. And these are the resources and tools that I give them. So I'm packaging everything for the person that's new to this, the person that's been in the game a long time. I just want to put something out that I know that I can help impact communities that I come from and others that want valuable knowledge that's not trying to rip people off. So here's the next question. And you should know this by now. I think I went in great detail of explaining this. What is the difference between a secured credit card and a secured loan? Now, I told you to get both of them, but what's the difference between both of them?